Hey, how's it going? And I've been out of the loop a little bit the last couple of weeks. I caught some kind of really bad cold. I went on a little trip, and so I'm finally feeling better. Yeah, Happy New Year. And we're starting fresh. I don't know if you follow the channel much at all, but I've been heavily focused on the verse language over the past few months, several months, maybe even more than a year, because I honestly believe that it's going to be a big part of Unreal Engine 6. At this point, I feel like I've gone about as far as I can go with the verse language as it is. And so we're going to shift from the verse language. We're going to get back into animations. Well, the great thing about animations with Unreal Engine is that pretty much everything that we talk about with animations in Unreal Engine also applies to Unreal Editor for Fortnite. And animations are really huge. I'd say it's one of the more complicated areas in Unreal Engine animation, and animation in general. I consider it to be like a specialty, but I also consider myself to be a generalist. So I feel like I have to know a little bit about everything since I kind of do everything, a little bit of everything. But animations in particularly are of interest to me, and I've done tutorials about this in the past about why animation is so important, whether you're doing games or some kind of project or short film. But the thing is it's a really broad topic, and there's a lot to it, especially with Unreal Engine. There's so many entry points, there's so many exit points, and I've struggled with trying to get my mind around animation. So what we're going to be doing over the next couple of months is a series of tutorials related to animation, specifically to animation. I wanted to talk about animations specifically with regard to Unreal Engine. So I hope you find this of some help. These are some slides that I put together. I spent about a day mapping out the whole Unreal Engine system and trying to make this make sense. So I just came up with a series of questions, and then I have a diagram for each question. And then after this tutorial, I'm going to start following a sequence of tutorials related to animation. The first question you may have is, well, how do I get animations? I know they're important. How do I get them? So I tried to make this as simple as possible. And essentially, you can make them yourself, or you can get them from somewhere else. You can acquire them. Now, there's an overlap there where you can make them yourself or acquire them from somewhere else, but then you also have the possibility to modify them. So there's some overlap there. In the make yourself category, there's mocap, there's live link, there's recording, player character animation, and then there's keyframe animation. Now, as far as I know and I'm aware of with Unreal Engine, these are the four main categories of animations that you can make yourself. And a lot of people will use mocap, but mocap can be very expensive. And to be quite honestly, if you get a mocap rig, it can be quite a hassle to set it up. And then once you even get the mocap, you have to clean it up and things like that. And then you have to still translate it into Unreal Engine. So mocap is as great as it is, it really can be a problem. So I'm not even focusing on mocap anymore just because of the difficulties and expense of mocap. But that doesn't mean we can't do a lot still. We're just staying away from mocap simply because of the cost and the hassle of it. Anyway, I just want to make that little point. As far as acquiring animations, and I might modify this list, but there's Mixamo, there's one called Actor Core that's through, why am I blanking on it? Through Real Illusion. There's Actor Core. And there's also, I saw that Perception Neuron has some free animations as well. And then you can also just, you can literally go pay somebody to do mocap for you. So, of all these options, I would think something like Mixamo or Actor Core, or even the options through Perception Neuron are probably the best way to go. Because, for instance, with Mixamo, they have over 2,000 animations, and that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. And then they have over 100 characters that you can use. And I just did a tutorial about how you can transfer Mixamo characters to metahumans and also to the mannequins if you want. So that's an option. This I think is the most practical option for people that are just starting out with animations because the hard work is already done. And here's the really great thing. Let's say you get a Mixamo animation. Well, then it's possible here in this overlap area that you can blend two Mixamo animations together so that you can create something, you can modify a Mixamo animation and turn it into something else, combine it with something else and make it your own. Now you can also keyframe those animations too. And then you can also, if you did mocap, you need to do mocap cleanup. But like I said, I'm skipping mocap because of the extreme expense. So this is just kind of a generic overview of how to get animations. Now, the next question is, what are you going to do with the animations? Why is animations so important? Two main reasons why. There are animations can be used to make short films, short animated films, or long animated films, and they can be used for in-game actions, in-game for games that you want to use, for NPCs or for your player character. And it's really come a long ways with motion matching now, the range of motions that a player character can do. And player character animations, I believe personally, have a lot of potential, especially with Unreal Engine. It's a way to actually create animations. Like you can almost think of it, it's almost like mocap in a way, but you're using a player character to perform the animations. And in Unreal Engine, using the take recorder, it's possible to record those animations, bake them out, and then reuse those animations. So in a sense, you may not need, if you can come up with a sophisticated enough player character animation, you may not need mocap at all because you could just create those actions with a player character in your game, record those, and then bake those out, and then have those animations available to you. So, and if you look in certain games, like in Unreal Editor for Fortnite, those player characters actually have the ability to like open doors, and there's quite a range of motions that are possible. And I've done tutorials about that in the past. Now, there's also this overlap that happens where between a short film and a game action, where you have a cutscene, and essentially that's in game. That is also what you could use animations for. So animations can be used for short films to animate player and non-player characters, and for cutscenes, which are essentially in-game short stories. So that's what you do with the animations and why animations are so important. But like I said, the problem is it's such a vast area, it's hard to know where to start. And this is another area here, is how do I implement animations? Well, with Unreal Engine, it really comes down to the sequencer. So the sequencer is really at the heart of all things related to animation in Unreal Engine. And that's why it's important to understand how the sequencer works. One of the things to know is I broke it down into two main categories for it to make sense to me, is you basically have out-of-game animations. The name I'm calling that is I'm calling those sequenced animations in honor of the fact that it's driven solely by the sequencer. And in short, every animation exists in the sequencer and is triggered by it. And I have a perfect example of that. I'll put a link to this tutorial in the description too, is where we explore this sleigh animation. And so I'll just play this back while I'm talking. I'll turn the audio off. But essentially, this video is all done. This is not in game. This is just running off of the sequencer without the Unreal Engine actually playing. And so what I did is I actually went and I put cars into the scene. And as you come up, I actually added those mannequins and a car over on the right. So this entire sequence is driven off of the sequencer, and it's not in game at all. So this asset, and it's available in the Unreal Marketplace. You can download this for free. You can download this asset and you'll see how it's structured, but it plays in the sequencer. It plays in the sequencer and it's not with the game running. It's out of game. But you can create essentially this entire animated film with no gameplay. And this is all driven off of 100% off of the sequencer. Now, a lot of the animations that they did in here were actually done by mocap. So they actually, for this, that's kind of crazy, is they actually paid actors to do mocap for this sleigh animation. This is the kind of level of things that you can do if you master animation in Unreal Engine, is that you could put together something like this. But you wouldn't necessarily even need to use mocap. You could use Mixamo Animations and do something like this. But this is 100% not in game. It is just played through the sequencer, and then you're recording the output from the sequencer. You're rendering out the output of the sequencer. So that's what I say when I talk about here. We come back here, and I'm talking about out of game. That's what I mean. So take a look at the Slay project, and that is an animation that exists in the sequencer and is driven by the sequencer, but it's not being played in the game. Then we have the other broad category I refer to is called in-game animations, and I refer to these as user-controllable animations. But this can also include sequence animations too, because anything that's in the sequencer can be triggered to play in the game. So in Unreal Engine, you can record a movie, a short film, using Unreal Engine without ever pressing the play button. And that's what an out of game is. Out of games, and that's what Slay is. This in game is with the play button pressed. So you're actually playing the game. For in-game animations, you would use the take recorder for filming that. Those not only filming those animations, recording those animations, but actually for filming the in-game animation as well. So in-game animations can be constructed with montages and animation blueprints, and can also be controlled on the fly by the user with the player controller. And with, like I mentioned earlier, motion matching now allows for increasingly sophisticated player character animations. That's the true power of player character animation. If you think about it using a game engine, as I was talking earlier about mocap, well, think about it. If you're able to control a player character to such an extent that it can talk, it can open doors, it can sit down, it can lay down, it can pick up a rifle and shoot it, and you have this range of motions that you can perform with a player character. Like it can go into idle, walk, run, jump, spin, kick, and you can record all that. Then what do you need mocap for if you can do all that with a player character? So that's the potential power of player character animation. So here I've kind of broken it down, what we just went over. So what skills do you need then? So you need live link for facial animation. You need the take recorder to record animations. You need the control rig to keyframe and modify animations. You need IK retargeting to be able to use Mixamo animations, and you need the blend space to combine animations. So this is related to the acquisition. Then for the implementation, like we saw in the Slay example, you'd simply just need mastery of the sequencer. And then for implementation in game, you would use animation blueprints, montages, or motion matching. And this all relates to player character animations as well, because you can always trigger the sequencer inside of a game as well. So these are the skill sets that we're going to be going over. And the very first tutorial I did, this is actually jumped ahead here, is on automatic animation retargeting, and I'll leave a link in the description tutorial on that. So these are what we're going to be covering in our next tutorials. I hope to see you in those, and I hope you found this of some help. So I will see you in the next tutorials over the next couple months.